All right, guys, we're back. Treadmill Talks. In this episode, we're going to talk about why does it seem like both sides hate each other? And it seems to be getting worse every year it seems to be getting worse and not better, which you would think with all the information that we have out there, it should be getting better. But let's talk about it though. Don't forget, guys, hit this subscribe button, grow the channel, share the information out to other people. It might not mean a lot to you to just scroll down and hit the button, but it means a lot to this channel. So go do it right now. Press pause, scroll down, subscribe, then press play again. All right. So why is it that both sides hate each other? Now, I have to stop using these words that YouTube doesn't like. It's so dumb. Like the Gender. Like I can't use that word because then YouTube will just shadow it, right? But anyway, so why does it seem like both people hate each other? Well, we have to kind of go back in time a little bit to start discussing how it used to be versus how it is now. And it kind of does make sense why there's so much resentment. So, if you go back to the caveman days, the way that relationships used to work was the man was physically stronger than the woman, right? And then at the time, we would just physically subdue whatever woman we wanted as our mate, right? Now, like clearly, that's not a good approach, right? I'm sure there's a lot of guys that wish it were still like that, but like, come on, let's be real here. No human being should ever be subdued by another, okay? So clearly, we evolved past that. Now, the evolution of that wasn't as cut and dry as you might think, because the next iteration of that was like, oh, okay, so we won't physically subdue women, but we will not give them any rights. So in essence, they're still kind of being controlled and they have no agency of their own, right? Fast forward, and you can see where this is going, right? Now, fast forward to 2026, when both parties kind of have equal rights now. It's not like women are resentful from the last 10,000 years or whatever. What they're actually resentful of in 2026 is they're really resentful of men wishing it was what it was like before. So it's like, well, you would be resentful too, wouldn't you? Like, you'd be like, well, this man expects me to be controlled, essentially. And then that makes me resentful. Dude, how do you feel when the government tries to control you too? I get hella if anybody tries, dude, for those of you that come onto my live streams, you know that when people, like the audience, when an audience member tries to control me by getting me to change the topic or tries to like psychologically manipulate me to like do something that they want, like fix their problem or something, I get really angry and resentful, dude. The notion of one human controlling another is totally unacceptable to me, right? Now, that's why women seem to just despise men currently, because men haven't caught up to, they haven't gotten the memo, right? The memo being, hey, I'm a human being, okay? They haven't gotten that memo. Now, why do men resent women? Now, kind of the same story, but the opposite, where women's behavior hasn't really changed in the last. We're still the same monkeys we were 100,000 years ago, right? It's just that now in the digital age, everything is cataloged and documented now. And there are people from before generations that have tested everything, they've filmed everything. It's kind of like the jig is up, right? Men know what the jig is up is when it comes to women. Their hypergamous nature, the incessant cheating, the cuckoldry, the alpha seed, beta need, like the jig is up, right? And when you are, they are, you know what? I would say men aren't resentful towards women. I think they're resentful towards the idea that was implanted in us of what women were supposed to be. Like nice, sweet, caring, loving, loyal, right? Like that, like we thought women were supposed to be like that. And then when you get into your adulthood, you find out it's the complete opposite. They're very self-centered. They're very selfish. They don't care about you at all, only what you can provide. You know the usual stuff, right? And then, yeah, that makes you really resentful, man. Like that makes you hella angry. Now, the biggest problem, and the reason, this actually leads to self-deletion too, but the biggest problem is most men won't find this out. Let's be real. Most people don't look up this kind of content until they're in some sort of pain or until they're in some sort of situation or state where they're actually looking for answers. And then, yeah, usually after a divorce, right? When the guy actually goes through a divorce, he's like, this woman is not the person that I married. Who is this person, right? This is insanity. The things that the women will do in a divorce, it's insanity. Then they figure it out. Then they find this content. The light bulb goes off. Now they get insanely resentful for the rest of their lives. And then what happens is when a guy kind of finds this type of content, he gets so resentful that he kind of chooses to be single. And then you kind of have this like subsection of men that are just choosing to be single. And then that means less partners for women, less families overall, right? Now, so you have women that kind of have equal rights now. You have men that haven't got the memo. Then the third problem is just like the laws around everything. So the laws haven't gotten the memo either, right? The laws around family and marriage make absolutely, they're basically archaic. They were made for like the 1900s. So those laws haven't kept up at all. So let's say, here's the crazy thing. There's like, I think what both parties need to do is stop resenting each other and start resenting the system that we're living in. Do you know what I'm saying? That's kind of the byproduct of what's been happening this entire time. So like, let's say a guy and a girl meet each other, and let's say they're actually just genuinely, they just love each other the way you would think normal love would be. They're just into each other completely. And I've run into this recently. Then it's like, let's say because all of the knowledge on the internet is kind of out there, you kind of know what you're getting into now in terms of marriage and relationships and like family law and stuff. And you're like, how do we proceed? It's like that's like the question. It's like, we genuinely love each other, but we literally cannot proceed together without one of us taking an ungodly amount of risk and the law screwing us over. So now what you end up having is 2026 version of resentment. The 2026 version of resentment being, why won't this man commit to me? Why won't he marry me? I hate him for wasting my time now. The guy being like, how do I marry you without risking my entire life's net worth? How? Tell me. So now it's like there's like this like black cloud of the law. That's just the law. You can't really change it. And then that black cloud trickles down to the two people and makes them combat each other over how to proceed with their lives, which then breeds negativity and hate. And everyone, again, so, you know what's funny? It almost seems like a conspiracy theory to a certain degree. I'm not a conspiracy theory guy whatsoever, but like, if they really wanted to promote coupling and families, you think someone would have done something about these laws by now, huh? You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's almost like they leave that there on purpose to create utter chaos in divorce, which then creators create content about how chaotic divorce can be for the person that makes more money, right? Men and women. Now, it's like this giant like staircase ladder of like every single thing along the way is designed for men and women to actually end up hating each other. It's fascinating. And then it's like, so what's the ultimate end point then? You're like, what do I do, right? And then it's like, the ultimate end point seems to be, so in my opinion right now, it seems to be a man and a woman living at their own houses or their own places, dating each other, and then just, like, that's it. Like, you know what, which I'm actually not opposed to. It kind of sucks in terms of trying to build a family, obviously. Like, the logistics of it don't really make any sense. But otherwise, it's a pretty sweet system where, like, one of you goes over to the other person's house on, like, weekends or whatever. You hang out for a couple of days. You get all the intimacy you need. And then you just go home. And then it's like, there's no drama. There's no like law, there's no law involvement in the entire process, you know what I'm saying? And then actually that way, you get to genuinely enjoy each other's company. Now, the problem with that is, step forward again, another year or whatever. Problem with that is, now all of a sudden, we could go either way, but why aren't you guys living together? Then there's like societal pressure now. Why aren't you guys living together? Familial pressure. Why aren't you guys married? Why aren't you guys more serious? All this, which again starts breeding resentment towards the other partner. So now, the woman is like, I need more commitment, aka marriage or moving in or something. The man is like, how? Right? So she gets resentful that he won't do more. He gets resentful that she doesn't care about the risk associated with his commitment. So it's like, and then we're back to resentment again. So it's like no matter what stage of humanity we're at, or like the stage of dating, every single kind of level that you enter is just designed to breed resentment for some reason, right? It's insanity. It's got to be some kind of conspiracy that's meant to be like that to reduce families, right? Now, the biggest problem, obviously, it's a pro and a con, right? It is the access to information that kind of is the biggest problem. Because the question used to be, like, were women, because we knew that men cheated before. Men cheated very overtly because there was no repercussion to it. It was, if anything, it was encouraged for men to cheat and have mistresses, right? Still is in some societies. But women, if they were caught cheating before, they would be stoned, hanged, beheaded, whatever, in like the old English times or whatever, right? So they got really, so here's the question. Were they just really good at hiding it and they were still just doing it? Or did they do it much less frequently? That's a question we'll never be able to answer, right? Like, you know how like when we were kids, our parents would just like let us out of the house and not worry about where we are, right? But now all of a sudden you can't really do that anymore, like 30 years later, because there's like pedophiles and like predators everywhere. It's like, so it's the same kind of point where, were those predators always there? It's just that they're being documented now? Or did something change to create more of them now? Do you know what I'm saying? So like, is the female equality component of it now, and the access to information, and the female empowerment, like females are kind of glorified for cheating now? Is that why there's more of them now? Or were they always doing that? It's not really a relevant question. It's more of an interesting one, right? So, what is a person gonna do when they have access to all the information on the internet and the planet? But very rarely will, this is just general human psychology, but very rarely will a human ever actually blame themselves or look inward for what they can do better. Man, if you find a person like that, you wife or you husband that shit up. That's how rare it is, right? What's the more common approach? Your brain will look for evidence to reaffirm its reality. So, if you are a 5'5" guy, and let's say you're struggling with women, in your mind you kind of believe it's because you're a short king, and you're gonna look, the algorithms are a whole different topic, but that's related too. The algorithm will now feed you content about how women on podcasts or whatever, I don't date short guys, I hate short guys need not apply. What do you think's gonna happen to your resentment towards women? Do you know what I'm saying? What's gonna happen? And that goes for anything. Looks, money, status. If you, basically, this goes for both genders again, the algorithm is designed to get you to keep watching it, right? Any kind of TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. That's why you kind of, it's so interesting because that's why content that is generally designed to help you and solve your problems, those channels never really grow very large because people don't want to hear that shit. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to, because it's like a cozy blanket of copium and denial, right? It's like, no, height doesn't really matter, my man. Just get better game. He doesn't want to hear that shit. he wants to blame the other gender for being shallow or something like that. It's easier to cope with, right? Affirms his reality. Now, on the other hand, when it comes to women, it's the same exact thing. I'm overweight, my boobs aren't big enough, I don't have enough followers. They all have their own crazy ass insecurities that the algorithm constantly feeds to them. Then they just get that's why there seems to always be, you know, like liberal women, how they're just like so opinionated and they're so aggressive towards men. Do you know what that actually is? Is they're trying to warp reality into what they want. That's what that actually is. So when you talk to a liberal woman and she just like gets in your face for no reason, and she just hates you because you're a man, and she believes you had privilege and all this, you're like, yeah, it makes you resent her because she automatically resented you for the way that you were born. And again, that was probably not like that when she was a little girl. It must have been indoctrinated over time. There's got to be some kind of conspiracy theory going on here, man, because nothing about it makes any sense. If men and women were actually serious about getting together and having families and not just playing the blame game to each other, it's never going to end. It's only going to get worse. If they were actually interested, and okay, what are the actual issues here? What do both genders want? And how do we fix the laws and the governmental, how do we lobby this to fix these firewalls and these issues? How do we do this? That's kind of, again, nobody's gonna want that answer. It's easier to blame the other gender, right? Now, damn, I used the G word. Now it's over. Whatever. But anyway, I really don't like, when I go out these days, I do feel a lot more tension than I used to like 20 years ago, man. Just the example that I gave the other day in the other video where I used the word chick and it like offended people and shit. I'm like, can we just be normal, guys? Like, can we just chill out? Do you know what I'm saying? How about all human beings are on the same team? Like, yeah, I'm on your team. I'm not against you. Like, when it comes to when I talk to women, I'm like, I'm not against you, like, at all. Like, I empathize with your position. Like, I get it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, why are you attacking me because of your perceived problems? Like, how about we have a discussion and we talk about it like adults, right? It's fascinating, my man. It's fascinating how this whole, and the resentment and the hate and the vitriol is just getting so deep into, dude, man, there will be guys on my live stream that the things they say about women, first of all, I know when they talk like that, they have no experience with women, first of all. Second of all, the things they say are kind of frightening because I'm like, what happened to you? Okay, we'll finish up on this topic. What is the first thing a woman says when a man is like a weirdo or like resentful towards her? Who hurt you, right? Which I don't agree with. I semi agree with that shit because like a lot of red pill dudes and a lot of like content creators in the manosphere, this is kind of the reason why I don't watch that shit. They seem very resentful, dude. And they're like propagating the anger towards their audiences. Like they're so angry. And like the number one rule of anger and being triggered is you were disrespected or offended by something, and your brain and body are having a reaction to that to defend itself. So when a man is insanely angry at a woman, it's because she triggered something in him. If he was just secure with himself, it wouldn't affect him, is what I'm saying, right? So the things that I see from these other creators, it is kind of like who hurt you vibes to a certain degree. Because, or it could be monetary as well. Because, so back to the original example, if they weren't resentful and angry, the general male audience wouldn't relate to them, and then they would actually get less clicks. So I'm actually not sure if it's an act or not, right? It could be. I'm not sure. If it is, they actually play being angry very well. But man, it's like they're like yelling at women and stuff. It's like, goddamn, dude, like yeah, who hurt you? Do you know what I'm saying? Like it feels a little bit like that to a certain degree. Now so again, everybody's been hurt, men and women. Everybody's been hurt. Everybody's been lied to. Everybody's been cheated on. Everybody's had their time wasted. Everybody. Do you know what I'm saying? You can't control the world around, despite what the feminists say. You can't control the world around you. All you can do is control your own actions, and you can make a decision not to be resentful and angry. There's a difference between being smart and what's the word? Defensive. Like you can play defense. You can make sure your assets are secure. You can make sure you date intelligently. You can make sure that you don't get taken advantage of by the opposite sex, men and women. Men don't pay for their dates. Women don't sleep with them within fucking 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? There's ways to preserve your value on both sides. Be smart about it. But you can still not resent. So when you get hurt by somebody, you adapt. You don't get angry. My tattoo here is an Elvish. It says, get better, not bitter. That's what a lesson I learned. God knows, get better, not bitter. You don't need to resent the person that hurt you. You can learn from it so that you never make the same mistake again. What's the goal think about it. What is the actual goal of being angry and resentful? What does it actually accomplish? All it accomplishes is actually just making you feel like shit, stressing you out. It's not gonna get you a partner. It never will, I promise you. Being angry at the opposite sex will never get you a partner. God, I promise you. So, if it prevents you from partnering up, here's the thing. If you were okay being alone too, you also wouldn't be angry at the other gender, right? Anger is a symptom that you need to work on yourself to find out why you are angry. If you are angry, you need to look inward and blame yourself for the actions or the ignorance that you had of why you got taken advantage of. Then as you proceed forward, you're smarter. You still open your hearts to people, but you're smarter about it. And you're not resentful. Now, people will say, who hurt you? And the answer is, everybody, man. And that's okay. If everybody hurt you, but you're not a resentful prick about it, what does that say about you? That says, I'm okay being hurt, and I'm not gonna be angry. All right, guys, we'll dive deeper into this one in another video. Already been 29 minutes. Hit the subscribe button if this video helped you. Don't be angry. Let's figure it out together. Hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next one.